Sarah here at The Simple Life, and I am participating. I'm excited to participate in the challenge, Middle Grade March Book Challenge. This is put on by the Curly Reader, Books and Jams, and Life Between Words. I love all of those titles of channels. They all have YouTube channels, and they all have Instagram as well. So I've been following them over there, and so I will be posting more about this. I am a little bit late to posting it. I hope it will be up by March 1st, but I have no idea if this video will go live on March 1st or not. So I am going to show you. They say that there is 5 different prompts, 5 different reading prompts. They say if you fulfill one of the reading prompts, you have participated in the challenge and you have completed the challenge. But of course, me being an overachiever like I am, aside from reading my other books that I always read from like adult fiction and things like that, I am going to try to fulfill all of the 5 prompts. There is like a book that they are going to be reading called The Brave by James Bird. I have it written on my list of things to be read, but I unfortunately will probably not be reading it in March. I have a lot of other books that I want to get to. Even though The Brave, it sounds like a really good book, and I am surprisingly, even though I have a middle schooler, I don't read a lot of middle grade books on my own, and so it was actually so much fun. I actually went to the library today, and I found a couple of books that I want to read that were middle school books. I think there were a couple of books, at least one book that I got that was middle school, and of course 2 nonfiction books or 2 fiction books for me to read, just for fun as well, from the adult. But I don't remember which one. Oh, yeah. Okay, the very first prompt, we're just going to jump in with it, is book with a silhouette on the cover. That was like, you would think that was like a super easy thing to fulfill, but I did have 2 of them here at home, which was Catching Their Talk in a Box. I did have a lot of books with silhouettes, but some of them were adult and some of them were like elementary school aged books. So Catching Their Talk in a Box, it didn't actually say, talks about that he's 11, so I suppose that would mean middle school. So there we go, Catching Their Talk in a Box. Has a silhouette and the sign of the beaver. The only thing is that these 2 particular books I had actually set aside for us to, because I'm already starting to work on next year's school book list and all the things. So, and this was actually, I just realized, this book, Catching Their Talk in a Box, is actually the 5th book in the Life Story for Mission series. So I'm like super excited. Look at all, there's so many. I would love to see more of them. But anyway. So yeah, since I had kind of put these 2 aside, they were kind of my 2 silhouette books. So, I mean, we might get to these this month, but I'm kind of thinking that I may keep these I am a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, if I did not mention that. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. So this is one I chose for us to read. This one I got from the library today. It's called Saving Lucas Biggs. I have never read it. I've never read this, but this looked so good. So anyway, it sounds like she's going to try to save her father. And I thought that sounded so sweet. I was like, that sounds like a book that I would really love, that I would actually pick on my own to read without it being a challenge. So there's for the silhouette. The next one is Strong Family Elements. And I picked several, naturally. Okay, The Little Riders. It talks about a father, maybe a family, I'm assuming, Little Riders. And it says she's 11, so another like beginning of middle school time frame, I would assume. I'm going off of ages here. The Little Riders. So it's a pretty thin little book, so I mean we could like zoom through that. It says now a Hallmark Entertainment production is seen on the Disney Channel. So we love. It's a beach tree book. We actually love to read the book and then watch the movie. So that would be pretty interesting. This is the other one. I kind of find that people mostly read these to their kids when they're super young. We actually read this, my son's in 7th grade. We actually read this book this year, The Cricket in Times Square. And I would say that this is a strong family element. It is so sweet. If you have never Red, The Cricket in Times Square. Please do yourself a favor and read this book. It is so good. The same person, Garth Williams, that does the drawings for this one also does the drawings for, I believe it's Charlotte's Web. Very, very well done. Let me find a really cute one. Oh, that's a cute one, the cat. It's about a cat, a mouse, and a cricket. And it is just precious. It's just absolutely precious. Look at that. There's some really good pictures, but it is just, and I really feel like that even though I see a lot of people saying that their younger kids love it, I feel like my son being, at the time he was 12, now he just turned 13. I feel like he really had a grasp on it and really got the story. And he really loved it. He really did love it. So that's another one for the family. So because of that, we probably won't be reading this one again, even though I personally wouldn't mind reading it again. And it's so precious. The other one that we are going to read, I've heard a lot of good things about it. We actually began reading this book, but then we ended up not. My oldest at the age that he is a perfect age to grasp this book. It is called The Yellow Star by Jennifer Roy. And I've read part of it already, and it is so good. It is about a family who has to, I guess they're sent to, I want to say maybe a gulag, I think is what they were called. Basically like a concentration camp type of thing. But basically no kids were allowed, and it's her story right there. It's all about her story. And I actually got to the part, at one part, you will probably cry, because her father is actually hiding with her in a open, like in a grave. I'm pretty for sure there were actually bodies in there, and this is a true story as well. It's a true story. So I've never gotten to the end of it, so we are definitely going to be reading this one for the family element. The next one is Travel or Adventure. And the Travel and Adventure, there is, from what I've never actually read this book, but I really thought this would be super interesting. It's called Nayanuki, Shoshana Girl Who Ran. I mean, that sounds like, I don't know. It kind of talks about she was 11. It says it is intermediate reading, so around 9 to 13 age range, so junior high-ish. And then it says Nayanuki was only 11 when she was taken captive by a rival Indian tribe. She and her best friend, oh gosh, I'm going to butcher this name, Sakawai, were forced to march 1,000 miles from Montana to a North Dakota Indian village where Nayanuki became a slave. Escape and reunion with her Shoshana people was the only thing on Nayanuki's mind. She secretly began to prepare for her escape along the Missouri River. All during the long march east, she had been watching for landmarks and hiding places. Finally, the opportunity to run away came. Nayanuki traveled alone in the wilderness for more than a month. Her journey presents an amazing story of danger, courage, and survival skills. Oh, wow. That sounds good. I haven't even read the back of it yet. I think I got it with a bunch of Sunlight books that I purchased from someone on Instagram. And I believe, so I'm going to say this one for definitely Travel or Adventure. I definitely think my kids would really love that, especially my junior high boy. So he is going to read along with me. And this is On Cast Toe. I don't remember why I grabbed this one, but maybe 300 years ago when the Blackfeet tribe wandered the northern plains in search of the buffalo, they needed for meat and hides. The braves hunted on foot, which made stalking and killing the large animals very dangerous. The women and children followed, using backpacks and dogs to carry their belongings. Young Amcast Toe longs for the day when he can take his place as a brave. He doesn't have to wait long for adventure. Apparently, that's why I picked it. However, while serving as lookouts, he and his twin sister discover a strange animal that has never before been seen by the Blackfeet tribe. Another adventure book, so On Cast Toe, and it is for ages 9 through 13. The other one I got, the other one I got, it was kind of pretty young, but I just thought that it was, I guess in case I didn't find other adventure books, I was going to kind of toss it in. I don't know if y'all have ever read this series. I just feel like I had to do it because it is a super big adventure. And honestly, we have read this series like so many times, and we actually read it, and my son was in 6th grade last year, and we read it again. It's called My Father's Dragon series. I don't know why. I know he's kind of a little boy. I don't even remember how old he's supposed to be in the book. I don't know if it says. It probably is definitely an elementary age book, but I don't know. It is so good. I don't honestly know. And I do think a lot of kids would feel like this was young, but I feel like paired with all three of them, like if you have all three of them, then it would be really good. My Father's Dragon, Elmer and the Dragon, and the Dragons of Blue Land. And I don't know why, but I just love this book. I love the color. I love the cover. I love the adventure. I love the story. I feel like I'm going to these places. I'm doing these fun, weird things like he's doing. And it's just kind of like, some of it's far-fetched, but it's so much. Like, he's just going. I mean, who gets to, like, go with a dragon and do fun things? That's what they do in, I think, Elmer and the Dragon and the Dragons of Blue Land. I mean, if y'all have all three of them, you should read them all. They are just fun to read. I just love this book. So I just could not pass this opportunity of adventure without saying My Father's Dragon series. This is the only one we have, but I promise you, if you have not read this, read this. It's so good. And I think of all ages. I know, I'm 34 years old and I still love it. All right, the next one is a fairy tale retelling or has fairy tale elements. Well, the first one that I just immediately came to my head because I had recently bought it like about 6 months ago to 8 months ago, and this was The Wizard of Oz. I just, like, I couldn't, like, I watched so many videos and nobody mentioned The Wizard of Oz, and I just was like, the Munchkins, the witches, all the things I just feel like fall into this category. The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, and I love it. I love it. I don't know what. It's just a book that I could read over and over and over again. And I just love it. And the movie, I mean, who doesn't love Judy Garland as Dorothy? I love that movie so much. Somewhere over the rainbow, you just feel like you are on some kind of fairy tale adventure. So Wizard of Oz would be one of my number one fairy tale retell, and well, fairy tale element books would be Wizard of Oz. I just love that book so much. The other one that I have never read, so I have no idea, but it is an older book. Let me see when it was published. It is called The Gorgon's Head. I think I've probably picked it up at some thrift store or something, or an old bookstore. It definitely has that old book smell, which I totally love. It has a 1961. So, The Gorgon's Head. I thought that would, it's a really super thin book, so I thought that would be super cool. And I just thought the picture on the front my kids would really love. And there's a few pictures inside, not many, but anyway, that looks like a super fun book. The other one I thought would be really good, and it definitely is the junior high age, and that is The Witch of Blackbird Pond. Don't know if my son will think this is cool, but I definitely thought that I might grab it. And I've never been one to really like a lot of fairy tale. I mean, I love fairy tales like Goldilocks and the Three Bears and all of those types of fairy tales. And I love Disney movies and all of those things, all the things. But as far as like a magical, like science fiction-y type book, and this is also a Newbery Honor book as well. Newbery Medal winner as well, The Witch of Blackbird Pond. So I feel like I should read it. And I just kind of would like to explore a few different things. That's one of my goals this year, is to explore some other branches of reading besides the ones that I'm totally in, which is like fiction, romance books. That's all I go for. Or I do sometimes mystery, but I always go back to my fiction romance. Sometimes I go for like the murder mystery type books, but then I always pull back to the romance fiction books. That's just what I do. Nicholas Sparks, Lori Wigg, Jeanette Oke, all the cheesy, all the corny, all the hallmarky type books. I'm all about it. So I'm trying to like branch out and try to like some other things. I do read a lot of different things with my kids. So, but we're definitely branching out. And I thought The Witch of Blackbird Pond, because witchy type stuff, besides like the fun witches and Wizard of Oz, I am not big into witches, and so I thought this would be really good for me to branch out. So I'm enjoying this challenge already. Okay, the last one is book published in the decade I was born in, or that you were born in. So I was born in the 80s. I was born in 1986, and I saw Sodbuster Living Chalice from over there. I saw her, she picked which I thought was just a brilliant idea. She looked up in the year she was born, she looked up the Newbery medal book, like the winner for that year. And I thought it was a great idea, so I did too. I'd never done that before. I didn't know you could do that, which that is so cool, because I spent like an hour just looking at so many different books and like, wow, I want to read that book. Like, that's a winner. Because I tend to find when they're winners, like, that's why I know The Witch of Blackbird Pond will probably be a good book, because it was a winner of the Newbery Medal. And this was another Newbery Honor winner as well, was The Cricket in Times Square that I shared with y'all. And I haven't read The Sign of the Beaver, but that's another winner. So that's another reason why I picked that one out for next year. And so my name is Sarah, so I had to get it. Sarah, Plain and Tall. This movie goes way, way back. Like, as far as back when I was a kid, I had never even knew this was a book, but this was a Newbery Honor winner in the year 1986. Anyway, so I thought that was super cool that it was Sarah, Plain and Tall. And I love this so much. And it says, did Mama sing every day? Caleb asks his sister Anna. Every single day, she answers. Papa sang too. And I can just, when I hear those words, I can remember the way those actors sounded, the little Anna and Caleb in the movie. I can just like hear them, like I can just hear them all talking. I have not watched Sarah, Plain and Tall in years, and I want to show my kids, which they will probably think it is completely boring, but I don't know. So we are going to read this book, and we are also going to watch the movies, just have like a movie marathon. I'm sure we'll bore my family to death, but I will completely love it. Maybe they can do it for me. Anyway, and with that being said, I'm going to wrap it completely up, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Middle grade March 2021. Hope you guys are having an amazing March, and I hope to have this video up by March 1st, and if not, it will be coming shortly thereafter. Talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.